Hey everyone! So today I'm here to review the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Invisible Cover Foundation. It retails for $43 US, $50 in Canada. It contains 1.01 ounces of product and it is available in 40 shades. And just in case any of you are like, what? But Makeup Forever's always had this foundation. They recently reformulated their HD foundation to the Ultra HD foundation, so there is a slight difference between the two, but we'll get into that later in the video. The new Ultra HD is said to be a best-selling HD foundation that appears more invisible, comfortable, and natural looking than ever before. Now before we get into the review, I should note that my skin type is dry, mildly to excessively dry depending on the day or season. And I only sometimes get oily on my nose and forehead area. The packaging is a clear plastic bottle that features a pump that disperses a generous amount of product, but half a pump can be achieved. While this foundation isn't fragrance-free for those of you who have sensitive skin, no scent can really be detected whether you're actually looking for it or once the product's on your face. There's really no scent to it at all. The formula is a fluid liquid consistency, not too thin where it becomes runny, but also not too thick where it becomes difficult to blend. It's a happy medium. The finish is incredibly natural on the skin, and depending on how much product is applied, it can lean towards a satiny type finish. Despite the great for all skin types claim that they have, this foundation would be best for lightly dry, normal, or combination skin types. Even though the natural satin finish is ideal for those of you who have very dry or problematic skin, I found that the foundation didn't sit very well in those areas and actually accentuated them and made them look almost scale flaky-like. Of course, regularly exfoliating your skin and applying a moisturizer daily can help. For those of you who have oily to very oily skin, you may want to avoid this foundation altogether, or at least make sure that you're setting the foundation with a generous amount of powder. Otherwise, you will likely find yourself blotting away excess oil throughout the day. And on the topic of oil, I did want to mention that although my skin type is very, very dry, I did find myself getting oily in my T-zone, pretty much to the point where the foundation was breaking down and separating on my forehead and the tip of my nose by the end of the day. The coverage of this foundation is medium and it can be built to a degree. 1 to 2 pumps does an excellent job of covering the entire face while correcting any redness, discoloration, or imperfections. It really improves the overall healthy appearance of skin. I found that layering too much product, especially in the terms of spot concealing any areas that need that little extra amount of coverage, can make the foundation much more visible on the skin, and it can also make it easier for the product to settle in expression lines or any fine lines. On the topic of application, I personally prefer applying this foundation directly to my face using my fingers, since it seems to provide the most coverage. I found that using brushes like foundation brushes, a fluffier brush, stippling brush, etc. gave off a medium coverage at most, and a beauty sponge like the Beauty Blender gave off a lighter sheer coverage. And of course, like I said, fingers seem to give off the most. With either method of application, the liquid consistency blended out easily on my skin, and although my freckles were still visible, any redness that I had to my skin prior became unapparent. During wear, the foundation was comfortable, felt weightless, and never felt sticky or tacky or greasy on my skin before setting it with a powder. It really just feels exactly like your skin. It's bizarre. Powders and concealers also pair exceptionally well without disturbing the product. I felt that this foundation never really set completely on its own, so even though it feels very natural and light on the skin, you will want to set it with a setting powder or a powder foundation just to help it from transferring or moving or fading easily throughout the day. When I tested this foundation both with and without a primer or base, I felt the wear time and the overall look of the foundation performed much nicer when paired with a mattifying primer. Any fading or settling that typically happens throughout the day was much less noticeable. After an entire day, the foundation held up quite well. It was really only around the 7.5 hour mark that I noticed the foundation start to break down and settle in my expression lines and around my nose. But I should mention that that happens with anything and everything that I put on my face. It's not necessarily the foundation, it happens with everything. It's just how my skin works with makeup. Some of you may be wondering what the differences are between the old version and the new formulation of this foundation, so here's a quick comparison of them. I found the new formulation to be lighter and provide less coverage. With the new Ultra HD formula, they have also updated and expanded their shade range from the original 26 shades to an outstanding 40 shades, mainly covering more fair and deep skin tones. The foundation undertones are also much easier to detect, and while the numbering system has also changed, the brand was very smart, and they've listed both the old and new equivalent numbers on the bottle. So if you previously used this foundation, you're not really going to be left wondering, well, what shade was I? Because they list both. However, keep in mind, since the finish, texture, and coverage isn't exactly the same anymore, what used to be your perfect shade of foundation may not be anymore, since there is a varying difference between the two foundations. So overall, this is an extremely natural skin perfecting foundation. While it may not be the most long-lasting foundation formula out there, technically the brand never claims for it to be. After all, this foundation was designed and created for use in the film and camera industry. It's meant to look the least apparent and nearly invisible for HD and 4K technology. To sum it up, the formula is comfortable, weightless, has a medium coverage, and comes in a phenomenal range of shades. Makeup Forever has made it incredibly easy to find your perfect shade. So whether you're in the market for a new foundation or you are a fan of the original HD foundation, then this one is definitely worth checking out. So be sure to let me know in the comments below if you are a fan of the original HD formula, if you've tried the new one, or if you've tried both and how you think they compare to each other. As always, don't forget to check out my blog for more details, photos, and swatches, as well as like, comment, and subscribe to show your support. If you'd like to give me a follow, I will have all of my social media listed here, as well as down in the description. As I always say, I hope you found this review helpful, and I hope that you're having a fantastic day, and thank you so much for watching.